Welcome everyone to a decade of Open Humanities Data.
So I love the nuances of the JOHD author model and contributor model. So dataset creators, I think JOHD allows us this really capacious recognition of the many people and kinds of support that go into creating data.
My big dream is that everybody compiling data of spoken language, because that's really hard to do, would be using the same protocols.
Not only was it difficult to seek approval of use for certain copyright protected pieces, but also especially if the copyright, like in an archive, is held by multiple parties because of the collaborative nature.
I want to pick up on something that Jin said earlier, that infrastructure isn't just technical, that the choices that we make shape the culture that we have around that infrastructure.
First of all, we all should share data in non-proprietary, widely usable formats so that everyone can access our data and they do not have to face, technical or software barriers.
Copyright issues, the scale of the dataset, which might be not that large, so people would be wondering also if they're actually working with a dataset or not.
Then I was also thinking as a value, as trust, as a huge value. Openness can help make institutions more accountable.
Present your data set, not only as something that can be reused and that can be enriched with other data for other purposes, but also as a case study.
I think the thing the colleague said already is very important, this documentation thing. Based on this idea of providing a full documentation of the whole project or of the whole data set.
I think a nice example of successful data reuse in my case is linked to the project I was working with during my PhD. Its goal was to build this diachronic corpus of Latin and to annotate it manually with modality.
So that idea of you need a documentation of your project's data modeling strategy that's full and complete, that goes along with your data, so that you've fully explained when you deliver this data into whatever repository exactly how it can be reused.
One of the things that is a challenge to that reuse is obviously there's different adherence to standards, but also sort of the mental pipeline, if you will, for manuscript scholars who are creating these descriptions.
Having a system where we can share those different versions and have a nuanced understanding of the different versions of a data set, coming from the source catalog through to more refined data sets.
One of the things that I really like about the journal is that it provides a space for us to really make explicit the amount of work it takes to gather these data sets.
Journals as the Open Humanities Data Journal and library communities should provide a forum for creating standards of this data reuse and the whole both what are the mechanisms of transportation of data and both what should be the content.
In terms of participatory science reuse, my contribution today was really about comprehensibility, but I think it's the accessible bits, especially in terms of plain English or plain language.
What we will be seeing are clearer licensing for open humanities data.
This should be a normal part of scholarly practice. In doing so, ensure a sustainable future for open data in the humanities.
What I'm hoping for the future is a greater emphasis on accessibility when we're talking about fair and care data.
Data sharing as an indicator of academic performance, together with the research article, part of our work structures, a tool to measure impact of research through reuse.
I'm very happy to establish any collaborations with initiatives that could benefit from involvement of the journal.
We emphasize a lot, other people using our data, making, who's going to use our data, what's the reuse potential, but actually in sharing our data.
So we've kind of encompassed different subjects, different field areas in the across the humanities and also kind of beyond the humanities, which I think have shown what we actually have in common.
Many people, that is still going to be an issue, I think, considering the material that they love, whatever that is, actually calling it data or classifying it as data.